Ladies and gentlemen, our program will begin momentarily. I respectfully request that you could turn off your microphone. Thank you. Your Excellency, Ambassador Diar Nurbintoro, Acting Director for the Non-Aligned Movement Center for Socio-Technical Cooperation, the Honorable Director for the Indonesian Center of Agricultural Training, Dr. Leli Nuryati, the Honorable Director for the ICAT of Limbang, Dr. Ajat Nika, Mr. Irfan Fakhrizal, Deputy Director for Technical Cooperation, Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Indonesia. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished participants, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good evening to our distinguished guests from Indonesia, and good morning to our American and Caribbean participants. Welcome to the online training course on food packaging and labeling for Caribbean, Central American, and South American countries, which is being organized by the NAM Center, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Indonesia, the Ministry of Agriculture of the Republic of Indonesia, in collaboration with Halal Food Authority, United Kingdom. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to explain the order of our program before we proceed to the inaugural ceremony. Today's program will begin with remarks from the Deputy Director for Technical Cooperation, Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Indonesia, to be followed with an opening speech from the Acting Director for the NAM Center and a lecture by Director for ICAT, Ministry of Agriculture. The event will be concluded with a virtual photo opportunity with all of the participants. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let us welcome Mr. Irfan Fakhrizal, Deputy Director for Technical Cooperation of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Indonesia, to deliver his remarks. Mr. Irfan, the screen is yours.
Thank you, Ibu Niken. Excellencies, Ambassador Pak Diar Nubiantoro, Acting Director of Non-Alignment Movement Center for South-South and Technical Cooperation, Honorable Ibu Dr. Insinyur Leli Nuryati, Director of Indonesian Center for Agricultural Training, Ministry of Agriculture, Republic of Indonesia, representatives from International Cooperation Bureau, Ministry of Agriculture, Republic of Indonesia, distinguished guests and participants, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening to distinguished guests in Indonesia. Good morning to all participants in Caribbean, Central and South America. It is my pleasure to welcome all of you to the online training course on food packaging and labeling, a collaboration between the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the Ministry of Agriculture of the Republic of Indonesia and Non-Aligned Movement Center. Despite different time zone and transcontinental distance, I believe the knowledge sharing has no boundaries. This evening, we are glad to meet all participants virtually who represent 8 countries in the Caribbean, Central and South America. The online training has become popular recently due to the pandemic of COVID-19. There is a blessing in disguise that we can attain more cross-border participants. I hope in due course you are able to meet face-to-face and you are able to visit Indonesia to get the on-site training. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to emphasize how important food packaging and labeling are, particularly in daily life. Packaging will influence consumer behaviors and preference. Meanwhile, labeling is essential for consumers' understanding. In a couple of days, the experts from the Ministry of Agriculture of Republic of Indonesia will share knowledge on food packaging and labeling, how to create the value added, and an introduction to Halal Certificate. During the course, they will also notify the harmonization to international standards. For your perusal, food and agriculture organizations and World Health Organizations have worked together with Codex Alimentarius to implement the joint FAO or WHO Food Standards Program. The purpose of this program is to protect the health of consumers and to ensure fair practices in the food trade. In the global food chains, we need to comply with these food packaging and labeling standards in order to penetrate the market. Distinguished guests and participants, Indonesia stands ready to be a certain provider in the global development through an active contribution in South-South cooperation. The role of the South-South cooperation itself is essential to promote a large number of knowledge and expertise exchange through programs, projects, and initiatives that have helped solve specific problems in the countries of the global south, in the countries of the global south. Specifically, this online training aims to support small and medium agro enterprises to improve the handling, packaging, processing, and labeling of food products in a sustainable way. In 2020, the UN officer, the UN Office for South-South Cooperation published a document gathering more than 100 successful experiences that have contributed to the development of countries around the world. One of the successful programs is the Lessons from Chile to the Caribbean countries on product labeling as a measure to end obesity. Last but not least, I would kindly invite all of you to take a chance to initiate another substantial programs that can be supported by the government of Indonesia and NAM Center. Your exchange will open a new avenues to strengthen South-South cooperation and also to achieve the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Deputy Director. And now we have the honor of inviting Ambassador Diar Toro, the Acting Director for the NAM Center, to offer his opening speech. Ambassador Diar, the screen is yours.
Thank you, Niken. The Honorable Director for Indonesia, Center for Agriculture Training, Ministry of Agriculture of the Republic of Indonesia, Dr. Lely Nuryati, the Honorable Director for ICAT of Lembang, Dr. Ajat Jatnika, the Honorable Deputy Director for Technical Cooperation, Mr. Irfan Fahrizal, the Honorable Dr. Imtiaz Hussain, Technical Lead Auditor and Food Technologist of Halal Food Authority of United Kingdom. The Honorable Trainers, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good evening, Indonesia. Good morning, Caribbean, South and Central American. I would like first of all to thank the government of the Republic of Indonesia, the Halal Food Authority of United Kingdom, and those who organized the virtual training. Distinguished trainers, ladies and gentlemen, as we are all aware, the focus of the NAM Center is the agricultural post-harvest sector. And when I speak of post-harvest, I mean not just agricultural product processing, but also the labeling and packaging components. We work to improve the capacity of relevant stakeholders to conduct current research on development, to share their experiences, to recognize food packaging and labeling challenges, problems, and opportunities. We gave an invitation in June 2021 and 1 month ago to brief the goals and expected result of training. There are measures accepted by the organizers which emphasize the goal of the distribution of food packaging and labeling guidelines, the correct allocation of food packaging and labeling resources and know-how in food packaging system. The guideline will focus on key food packaging and labeling concerns. For example, halal labeling, basic packaging, type of packaging, design of packaging, and labeling. And the following 4 days of training, you will certainly discuss all these subjects and try to obtain the outcome that you may present in your esteemed countries to your colleagues, co-workers, students, and farmers. In the short and medium term, the NAM Center will aim to include the result of the discussion into the NAM Center's plan. Distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, different elements need to be investigated, including existing criteria for labeling, the certification and accreditation scheme for food packaging, the expansion of product shelf life fruit, the packaging, and the halal certification and halal inspection. These subtopics will also address the present guidelines on labeling, understanding for consumers, the building of packaging, and its basics, and the interpretation of halal products. These are the trainers who will teach throughout the program. And obviously, in order to meet the Indonesian and United Kingdom standard, we shall explore geographic differences across the participating countries in your discussion in 4 days to find one answer. The Honorable Directors and the Deputy Director, distinguished trainees, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, I will attempt to mention the views of the NAM Center in a number of headlines. With regard to food safety, NAM Center undertakes agricultural activities on the basis of local partnership, transformative, resilience, and sustainable principles. The NAM Center therefore concentrates on organizing activities such as local or direct sales of agricultural products, varying crops, and organic methods, especially for small farmers and young people. In relation to partnership, we emphasize arrangement for pooling mutual benefits. The pooling includes farming knowledge, marketing, or distribution plan, and farmer networks. The NAM Center also works to strengthen our training program, in particular in connection with the current COVID-19 pandemic that is meeting an increasing number of barriers and limitations. In terms of sustainability and resilience, the NAM Center provides a technique for sustainable use of existing natural resources in order to generate more climate-friendly output and earnings. Of course, we hope that non-aligned countries will support the NAM Center in those areas. It cannot be a one-man show. Everybody must work together. This might be supported in particular by agriculture experts in the development of their abilities, knowledge, and other marketing and commercial strategies. Lastly, I would want to stress that a system to monitor this training needs to be developed. I would invite government, academics, and corporate staff to take part in this program by presenting their views to our co-organizer. The Honorable Director, Deputy Director, and trainees, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I'm pleased to offer you a very successful training and to officially open the online training course on food packaging and labeling for Caribbean, Central American, and South American countries. I thank you.
Thank you so much, Ambassador Diyar Nurbintoro. Allow me now to welcome Dr. Lely Nuryati, the Director for the ICAT, to give her presentation. Dr. Lely, the screen is yours.
Thank you, Niken. The Honorable Ambassador Diyar Nurbintoro, Acting Director of NAM Center, Honorable Deputy Director for Technical Cooperation, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Honorable distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, and all participants in American countries and also Caribbeans, good evening and good health for everyone. Now I would like to present about the improving product competitiveness through packaging and labeling in Indonesia. Next. Agricultural development policy direction is advanced, independent, and modern. Advanced, smart, precise, and fast in achieving better performance. Independent is optimizing own resources. And modern is utilizing the latest technology. Next. Horticultural development policy direction is improving horticultural competitiveness through increased production, productivity, market access, logistics, supported by modern, environmentally friendly agricultural systems, as well as encouraging increased product added value for the welfare of farmers. Packaging and labeling. Business competition, especially for medium small, is now growing and getting tougher. Every day, new products appear. Horticultural products are not left behind. Many product innovations have been produced, but not without problems. The perishable nature of horticultural product is a problem. This is inseparable for packaging technology. The appearance of the packaging will also demand support in product marketing. Next. What is packaging? A product is closely related to packaging. Without packaging, the product cannot be called a product. Therefore, the packaging must be made as attractive as possible in order to increase product sales. In addition to being attractive, packaging must be able to maintain product quality when it reaches consumers. As we can see that the products, it is better in the packaging rather than only packing. Next. Without packaging, can the product be sold? Every product is content and packaging, so that packaging doesn't mean waste and sales cost, but rather a unit with its contents that can lift the image and added value of the product and can protect the product properly. As we can see from the picture, the chilies can be processed and also packaging in a better way. Next. Importance of packaging. Hermawan Kartajaya, an expert in marketing, said that technology has changed the function of packaging. People used to say, packaging protects what it sells. Now, packaging sells what it protects. In other words, packaging is no longer a protector or a container, but must be able to sell the product it packs. Next. Packaging and labeling functions. First, keeping food products clean, protected from dirty and contamination. Second, protect the product from physical damage, like crushes, broken, and also detain. Changes in water content, sluggish, and the influence of light. Third, easy to open or close. 4, easy to store. And 5, easy of handling, transportation, and distribution. And 6, uniform product shapes, size, and weight. And 7, provide an attractive appearance to add selling value. All are providing information about products through packaging labels. Next. Packaging label function. First, give more appeal to the product. Second, as a product identity so that it is easy recognizable. Third, means of communication with customers by providing information about products to consumers. And also 4, make it easier for manufacturers to identify their products if problems occur. Next. Brand functions. First, as an identification mark, distinguishing one product from other similar products. As a promotional tool, product origin information, who made it, and as a guarantee of product quality, generating customer confidence in the product. How to choose the right packaging for the product. Horticultural products generally have properties that are easily damaged by bacterial contamination, sunlight, and odors. Apart from processing technology, what needs to be considered is the selection of the appropriate type of packaging for each product so that the product can last longer and, of course, increase. These are samples of small, medium enterprises products that have entered the market with good packaging and labeling. For example, chili pasta from Grobogan, Jawa Tengah. And here we can see also shredded chili and then banana chips. And here we can see also fried salad super brown and horticulture products rumpun padi Wonosobo, Jawa Tengah. Next. These are examples for packaging of horticultural products. We can see chips and also spices like bumbu kecap or bumbu ayam kecap. This is the spicy for chicken. And also we can see from here many juice, like juice from many kinds of horticulture products, especially from fruits. Next. And these are the inefficient marketing of horticultural product. We can see from the online shop here, this is the example from Shopee. We can buy many kinds of horticultural products with the good labeling and also packaging. And also we can see from the shopping online Tokopedia. Next. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and hope all the participants will enjoy the training and good health for everyone. Thank you and nice for the training.
Thank you very much, Dr. Lely Nuryati. Distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, before we conclude the inaugural ceremony, please allow me to kindly ask everyone for a virtual photo opportunity. I respectfully suggest that all participants and guests to turn on your video. Okay, we are still waiting more participants to turn on their videos. Please, for Mr. Juan and Miss Jessica, Mr. Jesus, and Professor Angela, please turn on your camera. We're going to have a virtual photo opportunity briefly. Okay, I will start counting from 3 to 1 right now. Please give your base pose. 3, 2, 1. Okay, one more time. 3, 2, 1. Thank you. Thank you very much, the officials from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Ministry of Agriculture, and of course to Your Excellency Ambassador Diar Nurbintoro for your presence. Ladies and gentlemen, the online training course on food packaging and labeling for Caribbean, Central American, and South American countries has officially begun. As a prelude for the next agenda on halal labeling, let us watch a video about the food packaging industry. Pak Suroso, tolong putar videonya, terima kasih.
Hot pack products come in white, clear, and colored plastic, as well as aluminium, foam, and paper. This is the fully automated injection molding facility at the Dubai factory. These state-of-the-art machines manufacture different types of microwavable rigid containers, cutlery, crystal plates, and so on. state-of-the-art pick-and-place robots not only ensure high speeds, but also enhance the hygienic production conditions. Here is the thermoforming division of HPPI, which produces a wide range of products for the food industry. Only the best of raw materials from renowned manufacturers are used to produce Hotpack's mother reels, as it is sometimes referred to, thus ensuring quality right from the beginning. Equipped with fully automatic European machines, an extensive range of products roll out from this division. These range from disposable cups, clear containers, lids, trays, blisters, clamshells, and other products designed for different requirements. These state-of-the-art lines boast automatic stacking, counting, and packing. Nearly 1.5 million drinking cups alone are made at this facility every day. Hotpack's paper bag division delivers different sizes of craft paper bags with flat or twisted cord handles. Flat and square bottom bags are also produced, and all these can be customized with attractive printed designs as per customer specifications. Hotpack also produces a wide range of plain straight straws, corrugated straws, wrapped plain straws, and wrapped customized straws. These are available in different lengths and diameters, as well as in different colors. Hotpack's aluminium foils are known for its quality. They are available in all standard sizes and in various thickness. New to the region is Hotpack's embossed aluminium foil. Not only does embossing increase quality, it commands visual attraction, and it's dynamic in its reflective qualities. Hotpack is also known for its aluminium foil containers. Advanced machines produce a range of containers which are automatically counted and stacked, thus reducing human intervention. Hotpack also produces a range of cling film products. These jumbo reels are the feedstock for Hotpack's dedicated tissue manufacturing factory that produces paper tissues and rolls for various applications. This Armica Matrix industrial line machine is as state-of-the-art as they come, and one of its kind in the Middle East. Fully automatic, every 2 minutes, 1.2 kilometers of tissues are converted from the huge 2.8 meter wide jumbo rolls. This machine does the slitting, rewinding, labeling, wrapping, packing, and palletizing, all untouched by hand, thus raising the hygiene standards to a new level. Marketed under the Soft and Cool brand, it also means cost-effective production. Hotpack is also a reputed producer of plastic carry bags and garbage bags of varying sizes. Equipped with multi-layer extruder machines capable of delivering different sizes, the company produces a wide variety of bags to meet the demands of the retail industry. These high-speed flexo and CI printing machines provide high-quality, multicolored outputs on substrates of different thicknesses. Following printing on the rolls, move on to the next stage where it is folded and sealed, finally taking on the appearance of carry bags.
Thank you, Pak Suroso. We will now hear Dr. Hussain's presentation. Let me start reading his profile first. Dr. Imtiaz Hussain is a technical lead auditor and food technologist at the Halal Food Authority of the United Kingdom. Since 2008, he has been professionally involved in the field of food technology and quality assurance. He also has technical skills in microbial products connected to Halal Certification and Halal product research. Dr. Hussain obtained a Master of Science and Bachelor of Science from University of Agriculture of Pakistan and a PhD from University of Reading, UK in Food Science and Technology. He will share his knowledge on this training, a presentation on halal labeling. You could begin your presentation now, Dr. Hussain, and please turn on your video if possible. Thank you.
So the topic of today's presentation is food packaging and the labeling. So during this presentation, we will cover the following topics: the packaging terminology and the type of packaging, the food grade packaging, food labeling in general and information, the law relating to the food labeling, packaging suitability as per the product requirement, and packaging migration and stimulants. This is a slightly the tough area because we will do some food chemistry and general chemistry. So I tried my best to make it simple for the audience, but might be some information is a technical. So unfortunately that need to be discussed under this category. Then we will discuss specifically about halal food labeling and information, and the halal packaging and halal food industry challenging. And the last one is halal production environment and the storage and distribution. So before going to discuss the halal labeling, we need to understand the fundamentals of the food packaging and the labeling. That is a basic requirement to understand the halal packaging in detail. So this is the definitions by the defined by the European directive that is 94 by /62 by European Commissions. So they give the official definition of the packaging and its field of application. So it consists, it's referred to the packaging as a meaning all packaging, all product made of any material of any nature to be used for the containment, protections, handling, delivery of the delivery and the presentation of goods from the raw material to processed food and from producer to the user or consumer. There are three types of packaging which are commercially used. The first category is called sales packaging or the primary packaging. And in the category of the sale packaging, the primary packaging is conceived as to constitute a sale unit or maybe the counter display unit to a final user or consumer at the point of the purchase. So primary packaging, which is basically the packaging which will usually customer purchase from the shops and the retail area. The second category is called group packaging and the secondary packaging. In that category, it consists of the number of the units intended for the final user or consumer. It can be removed from the product with affecting characteristics. The third one is the transport packaging and tertiary packaging. So this is a packaging basically conceived as to facilitate handling and transport of the number of the sale unit under the group packagings in order to prevent physical handling and transport damage. The food contact material defined under the regulation 1935/2004 by the European Commission, the material intended to come in contact with the food contact material must comply with the requirements set out in the regulation which I mentioned earlier. So food contact material must not be transferred their component into the food in quantity that could danger for human health or change food composition in an unacceptable way or deteriorate its taste or texture of odor. So food contact material must be included in the list of authorized substances in line with the composition of the labeling, advertising, and presentation of food contact material must be the explanatory and not mislead to the consumer. So these are we will discuss what is the food packaging. So basically food packaging consists of the following component and the specification, food grade. What is the food grade specification? We will discuss it next couple of slides. Chemical migration and the chemical migration certificate consists of the what are the component consists under the category of chemical migration certificate. And we'll also discuss what is the validity of halal certificate or statement, and the product suitability is also important parameter which give us information with what type of the packaging material is suitable for the product. Like for example, I give you example like crisps are packed in the aluminum foil. So there is a reason behind that. So that aluminum foil protect the crisp from the oxidation and from the sunlight as well, because sunlight play a vital role to promote the oxidation process inside the crisp. So that is the best way to enhance the shelf life of the crisp. So these are the general type of the polymer-based packaging which are commercially used for the packaging of the product, which are based on the plastic materials like polyethylene, polypropylene, low-density polyethylenes, and high-density polyethylenes, polypropylenes. So these are the polyethylene, tetrafilate. These are the common type of the plastic polymer used in the food industry. So as per the Commission regulation number 10/2004 clearly defined about the food safety stuff. So the molecular weight of the chemical which is more than 1000 Dalton not absorbed by our GI tracts. It means that the chemical or any chemical used in the plastic material or food grade packaging, the weight more than 1000 Dalton is the product safe for human consumption. Then we will define two different types of the chemical substance. One is called non-intentionally added substances. So these are the component which is a part of the part as a composition of the material. Maybe the plastic material, cardboard boxes, adhesive, ink, etc. So the best example of this non-intentionally added substances is the multi-layer packaging material. So intentionally added substance are those substances which migrate from the chemical composition for chemical like a packaging into the food product and vice versa. So these type of the molecular weight can be determined by gas chromatography, mass spectroscopy for the use for the volatile and semi-volatile component, and liquid chromatography, mass spectrometry used for the non-volatile components. So under the category of specification, the specification must contain this type of information like a composition of the material. That's a very important. What type of packaging we use. That's very important. You need to understand what type of the packaging material has been used. For example, maybe material has been used as a polyethylene, polypropylene, etc. And the type of the material used, sometimes the material used as a single component, or some of the material used in the combination of more than one packaging, like a component maybe like a multi-layer, like a layer of maybe polypropylene and paper. The packaging design help us to define the mechanical property of the material. Like it should be like a strong to during the transportation process and make sure the product is not affected by the stress and strain during the transportation process. And also the packaging material have ability to withstand during the packaging process, because the packaging process also involve the forces which help us to pack the product in a way to extend the shelf life. So the food tolerance cover the category of overall migration, which is a very important parameter which is defined by the European Union. There is a legal limit for the overall migration. I think that is in case of the packaging material, that is 10 milligram per cubic decimeter of the packaging material. The food suitability I mentioned earlier, food suitability is also important parameter. The packaging material should be applicable for specific product. I gave you one example in the previous slide. One more example, for example, you have seen some juices and milks are packed into the cardboard boxes, and these cardboard boxes are made of 6 layer, which combination of like cardboard material, polyethylene layers, more than 3, 1 layer on the top of the printed material, two more layer inside of the attached with the aluminum foil. So this type of the material is called multi-layer, the packaging material. This is only suitable for the milk and juices. Other example is canned. The metal can you use for the packaging of fruit and vegetables based products, because they are very good stand with the food which have high acid content and the low pH. So allergen declaration is also component material from the food safety point of view. The packaging composition of the specification must contain the allergen declarations. So food grade information is come from the European Union. They define and different articles to make sure the food grade the food grade material or packaging material must meet the food safety requirement to make sure that food is applicable and it will not create any issue with regard to the health and safety. So the halal declaration certificate is important from the halal standard point of view. We need to make sure the material has been used for the manufacturing of the for the packaging material must come from the non-animal sources, or the sources which are prohibited in Islam and our holy book Quran. So some of the material, I gave you example like the lard and the tallow, they contain higher amount of silicated, and the packaging material like plastic, that cannot be manufactured without the addition of this type of additive. So this type of additive must come from the non-animal source. So we need to make sure the packaging material have a proper suitability for the halal packaging and products. So these are the detail about the food grade packaging. These are the rules and regulations which will come under the category of the European Commission rules number like 1935/2004 So it gives you information to suitability of the packaging material for the product. So there are different articles give you detailed information about the compliance. For example, compliance about the safety requirement of the packaging material. We have a detailed information under the article number 3. And we also have a detailed information, the food labeling and their requirement and more information under the category of article number 15, and then the declaration of the food compliance, like on the food packaging material, have a detailed information, article 16. And the traceability component is also very important in case of the product recall. So they have detailed information. What are the information is needed to display on the food labeling to make sure in case of a product recall, the product must be recalled in a proper way using that information, which come under the category of article number 17. So then the food safety requirement must maybe make sure through the good manufacturing practice, and there is a rule and regulation which come under the category of number European Commission rules and regulation, that is 2023/2006, which is based on the flexible packaging. And somebody, if need more information, they can do the website flexpack-europe.org. So there's a lot of information is available regarding the good manufacturing practice, which can be used for the processing and manufacturing of the packaging material under the safety guidelines. So we will discuss what is the migration. So migration phenomena is very important before going to the factor which can affect the migration phenomena. So migration itself correspond to the transfer of the substances from the packaging material to the product by physiochemical reaction, except for the element that could be separated from the packaging due to the mechanical stress. So these are the factors which can influence or maybe speed up the migration process into the product through the packaging material. So basically the migration, the phenomena based on the fixed law. With this law, basically, there is the concentration of the migration of the material move from the higher concentration to low concentration or vice versa. So the nature of food is very important. Like food contain like higher moisture content, lower moisture content. So that's very important. The nature of material, they can be reduce the migration or can promote the migration, because under the dry condition, the migration phenomena is negligible. So if you have a condition like a wet condition, that can help to influence or speed up the migration process. The other component is a very important with respect to the migration, the phenomena, that is the packaging surface area and volume. For example, if the product is packed in a smaller quantity and the packaging material is very less used to pack product, so there is a less migration as compared to some packaging used to pack like a 25 kilo the bag. That packaging material have a more surface area, so there is a more risk and more risk of migration of chemical from the packaging material into the food. The other component we will discuss in detail in the later slides, that is the duration of the contact and the temperature of the contact. So it is also important with regard to the duration, because some of the product, they have a longer shelf life, like 3 months, 6 months, 6 weeks, and the temperature of storage. So some products stored at like 40 centigrade or 30 centigrade. So there is a difference between the temperature condition that can affect or influence or speed of the migration of process. And the temperature as well we discussed, and the nature of the packaging material like the plastic material have a more migration as compared to the other material. For example, glass material or the cardboard boxes and other metal can. So in the case of the plastic material that have a more faster migration as compared to other packaging material. So migration concentration and characteristics are also important because the European Commission have identified some migrants or their characteristics that need to be followed, and there is some limit. Like in stearic acid, there is some limits and some, there is a key component which European Union have a strict regulation about, like for example, stearic acid and acetic acid. So the migration concentration in the packaging, that's important. What type of the additive has been used? Because additive play a vital role. We will discuss in detail that the additive will also, the concentration of that, it is very important to speed up the migration phenomena from packaging material into the food product. So basically, if we discuss the migration, so migration is determined by under control conditions by using the 4 different types of the stimulant. So we will categorize stimulant into 4 category like A, B, C, and D. So basically, A stands for the distilled water, and the B stands for the aqueous acetic acid, 3% weight by volume, and the stimulant C is the aqueous ethanol, 15% weight by weight, and the last one, stimulant D, so that is sunflower oil or rectified olive oil. Basically, these stimulants are used to determine the level of the chemical migration under the control condition to identify what type of the packaging material have the ability to migrate the chemical from the packaging material into the food. So therefore, on the basis of this stimulant testing, the European Union have defined some standard which must be followed to make sure the packaging material is safe for human consumption. There is no chemical has been generated which can affect the human health. So that's a basically example from classification which is based on the molecular weight, which I mentioned earlier. The molecular weight of the chemical migrant, if you have a more than 100 the Dalton, that is safe for human consumption. If they have a less than 100 Dalton, then there is a risk and they can affect the human health. So 1 Dalton basically is equal to 1 gram per mole. I gave you one example. The molecular weight of the water is 18 grams. So that is a 1 Dalton in case of the water. So if we have a molecular weight of the chemical migrant between less than 200, so that can be determined by the gas chromatography. And if we have less than 600, they are volatile in nature and they are also determined by gas chromatography. And the less than 1,000 molecular weight of the chemical migrant, they can be determined by NMR, liquid chromatography, and UV spectrophotometry. So basically, these are the techniques help us to measure the chemical migrant on the basis of the molecular weight. So the type of migrations, basically there are the 3 types of migrations, and these types are based on the interaction of this packaging material with the food product. The first one is no or negligible migrations. The range of the product packaging combination exists of which virtually no migration is observed. This is particularly the case in the dry condition where there is practically no exchange between the food and most packaging material. The second one is a migration independent of the packaging products or packed products. So this classifier mainly include the packaging plastic material. And the plastic material contains certain amount of the polymers and the monomers as a reaction component, mainly originating from the reaction process. The monomer and other product can be formed from the polymer by the thermal degradation during the manufacturing of packaging and photo degradation by radiation. The third one is the migration linked to the interaction with the product. In this case, the migration is controlled by the property of the two-phase. That is a direct contact such as with liquid, and three possibility can arise if the packaging material come into the contact with the component. For example, chemical, electrochemical reaction between the packaging walls and the content. The back example is the metal packaging. The ion exchange between the packaging material and the food. This is happening in the glass and ceramic packaging, and the absorption of the liquid of the packaging material. This phenomenon mostly occurred in into the plastic and paper packaging. So the plastics are susceptible to the migration, extent of which depend on the chemical nature of the liquid food product like water, alcohol, acid, and oil. So liquid products tend to penetrate in the plastic material, causing it to expand. So additive can leak from the liquid medium, absorb into the packaging, into the product. So these are the example which I mentioned, the migration test and the legislation. So you can see different product has been selected to determine the level of, to use the stimulant to measure the stimulant. For example, for non-alcoholic beverages, the best is the water. Water can give the best result if this type of stimulant used in the non-alcoholic beverages. The pasta still unknown which type of the stimulant is applicable to determine the level of migrant. The chocolate, the best is olive oil and fat. Again, the olive oil, fish, and water, 3% acetic acid, and the olive oil. So the processed cheese, the water again, the chips is the olive oil. So, you know, this X by 5 means there is a level of acceleration, because in case of the chocolate, the olive oil gives you a more accelerated process as compared to the X. So these are basically the migration test and conditions. And there's a different condition. For example, some migration tests give you result if they stored for the less than 24 hours, and the different time and temperature combination. Then we have a between 2 to 24 hours. These are the conditions, and then less than 2 hours. So the European Commission determined the best time and temperature combination is 40 centigrade for 10 days. You will get the very good result on these time and temperature combination. Overall migration is determined. So about the chemical migration certificate, this information is very compulsory to make sure you have the chemical migration information on this food specifications. So overall migration limit, which I mentioned, is as per the regulation of European Commission number 10/2011, article number 7, give you clear information about that is the safety limit. They should not exceed from 10 milligrams per cubic decimeters. And the overall migration, which has been selected by using different stimulant, that is 40 centigrade for 10 days, you will get the best result for overall migration into the packaging material. So these are the stimulants which I mentioned earlier, like ethanol, acetic acid, vegetables oil. So these are the stimulants are used to get result at 40 centigrade for 10 days. So there is a specific restriction for the substances used in the plastic. As per the regulation number 10/2001, there is a specific restriction of acetic acid and stearic acid. So there is a specific limit You can't use more than these two components, because if you use more than that, there is a risk of health and safety. And the value of migration, they should not be exceed again for the 10 milligram per cubic decimeter of the finished product with regard to the packaging material. So this is applicable 10 milligram per cubic meter is only applicable for the product which are 500 ml or less. If your product that is packaged into the 10 liter, then the migration limit is applied 60 milligram per kg, because due to the surface area. So the use of food additive like titanium oxide and heavy metal, if somebody used into the packaging material, that should not be exceed 100 ppm. So there are three different type of the mechanical strength. The three type of packaging come under the category of mechanical strength, thermal conductivity, and radiation barrier. So in mechanical strength, the packaging product from the external impact by its mechanical strength, which depend on the rigidity of the packaging material, product can also protected by gas packaging. For example, bag of crisp, it contains the nitrogen gas. And the strength of material can be evaluated by burst, compression, and performation test. So the next one is a thermal conductivity, which is all other property, another property of the packaging material. So in case of this, installation material may be used when variation in the positive or negative temperature could affect the product shelf life and the quality. So it is preferably choose the packaging with high thermal conductivity, where the heat treatment sterilization is involved, which explain the, like, for example, the metal cans, and they have ability to withstand at like 120 centigrade, maybe 10 to 20 minutes. This is the best example for the thermal conductivity. So the third one is the radiations barrier property. It is generally ultraviolet light that rather than the visible light rays that tend to denature the product. Product can be preserved by opaque packaging, or where the packaging should maintain the transparent, for example, the beverages, tinted packaging. So it is possible to use an outer layer of cardboard and wood in case of the like a Tetra Pak. So we have a different type of packaging material. So like wood, paper, cardboard, and molded top. In case of the wood, the main type of the wood suitable is for the wood material is come from the pine, the oak, and the cork material. So raw food is used in the packaging of consumer food products, whether it's a primary trays for fruits and vegetables, secondary might be cheese boxes, wine crates, or tertiary packaging like a wooden pallets. So these are the examples for the, so paper is paper and cardboard, and the packaging material is produced by the pressing the thin fibers into the sheet. The paper pulp is mainly produced from the soft wood. So paper is inexpensive and recyclable material, making packaging more rigid, and but having no barrier and wettability property. So it have a more hygroscopic nature to absorb the water. It is therefore often used in combination with aluminum foil. The best example is the Tetra Pak, and the polymer for the scaling purposes. Sorry, for sealing purposes. But for example, the all like paper bag, they come with the liner of plastic material like polyethylene or polypropylene. So paper coated with the polyvinylidene chloride also exists, which act as an effective barrier to water and oxygen. So the molded pulp is made by the shaping recycled material into the mesh mold. It is also used to produce the produce egg cartons and the inner packaging. So glass is a more old technology of packaging material. So it is a mineral product obtained by the melting, which solidify without crystallization process. It is composition. It is composed of 70% silica. So glass forming agent, 14% sodium carbonate, and 10% lime, and 1% magnesium, and 1% potash. So glass packaging typically include bottles, jars, flasks, glasses, and the tumbler. It is used in many different sectors for the food industry, like beverages, preserve, jam, condiment, baby foods, and dairy products. So a distinction is made between the glass varieties depending on their ability to absorb the radiation and the block ultraviolet light. The clear glass for water, certain juices, jams and yogurt, and gluten, green blue glasses for the beers, wine, and oil, brown amber glasses for beer and certain juices. So glass have many qualities like vapor and liquid excellent barriers, good chemical criteria that higher than for all of the other material and for the packaging material. So the next one is the steel and aluminum. So these are the steel is important material for the packaging of the metal can, aluminum as well. So in case of steel, we still have an issue of corrosion when it will pack with the product which contain like higher amount of acid, like a fruit and vegetables. So to avoid the corrosions, we use varnishing. So but there is a risk of varnishing, which are that is the potential risk from halal standard point of view. The varnishes source is coming from the animal or from non-animal sources. So several aluminum alloy are used in packaging, varying percentage of magnesium, manganese, and chromium give them different properties like mechanical strength, stability to corrosion, shaping ability, aluminum packaging include cans. So the protective coating of the metal packaging, that's another issue which help us to coat the packaging material from inside to make sure it will not affect the food material. So main drawback of the coating material is there is to avoid the it not help to avoid the corrosion. Then as a result, metal often coated with the protective layer similar to the plastic material. So we have different type of the organic type of the protective coating. So the best one is oleoresin phenolic and epoxy phenolic that is applicable to fruits and vegetables and the meat. But there is a risk from halal standard point of view. All they are very good protective coating for the can material, but there is a risk if you need to make sure this comes from the source material. Like I need to identify what is the source of material. The source of material from the animal that need to be make sure that is not halal suitable. So there are the plastic is a more common material which is used for the packaging of the food products. So the packaging of the synthetic material composed of the material that can be molded under the heat and pressure. So in general, there are two types of the packaging material. One is called thermoplastic and thermoset. So the structure polymers, the polymers don't have the ability to make a structure under the controlled conditions. And the barrier polymer are those polymer which have ability to low permeability to oxygen, carbon dioxide, and the flavor. So copolymer is a combination of more than one polymers, and the best example is the Tetra Pak, which contains the 6 layer of the polymer, which is combination of polyethylene, the cardboard, and the aluminum. So filler are basically used to expand the plastic material, and the best examples of fillers are the chalks and the minerals and sodium and calcium carbonates. So this we already discussed. So this is an example of the copolymer which help us to prevent the carbon emission come from the industrial sources, UV light which come from the sunlight, and so you can see there is a coating layer which is made from the cardboard box, and which is laminated by polyethylene material help us to prevent the entrance of the carbon dioxide and the ultraviolet light and other environmental factors like temperature and humidity. So other layers like the structure layer, which is usually made from the cardboard boxes to maintain the mechanical strength of the packaging material. The barrier layer help us to prevent the absorption of oxygen and carbon dioxide from inside the material and from the outer side as well. So tile layer is a combination of that is called technically modec. That is a combination of the resin and adhesive to combine these layers together. The sealing layer basically used during the packaging process when the product is sealed under the control condition to make sure the product is packed and there is no risk of contamination of the microbiological point of view and from the chemical and the environmental factor point of view. So there is another example which can help us to understand the chemical composition of the multi-layer barrier film. So you can see clearly the top film which contain from the polyethylene or polypropylene, which help us help us as a barrier for the moisture resistant, and the amodic, which is a combination of resins and adhesive material, also help us to make it as a sealant, and the ethyl alcohol work as oxygen barrier. So this is another example of Tetra Pak. You can see there is a 6 layer of the Tetra Pak, and they have some function. Like a first layer is outer side layer, which is polyethylene layer. The purpose of polyethylene layer is to prevent the absorption of moisture into the cardboard box, because cardboard box is the printed material, and cardboard box didn't have ability to withstand with the moisture content. So the polyethylene help to maintain the integrity and the printing material, which is printed on the cardboard box. Then the polyethylene material is a layer between the cardboard box and aluminum foil to make sure there is no to maintain the rigid and the mechanical strength between the cardboard box and the aluminum itself. And then the last 2 layers are polyethylene, because the last 2 layers, one layer is help us to prevent the moisture from the food material into the packaging, and the other layer is used as a sealing agent. The product is sealed after when the product is packed. So last one is a work as a sealing agent. So these are the additives used into the food industry, like a pesticide, stabilizer, lubricant, anti-static agent, flame retardant, and the colorant. So from halal standard point of view, the lubricant, stabilizers, and the colorants are very important. So stabilizers, they come from the different sources like stearic acid and other component. We come from the animal sources, need to be considered, and you must identify the source of the material. So that material must come from the non-animal sources to make sure this is the this meet the requirement of the halal standard. The lubricant we have used like different food grade lubricant which used during the sealing process, or maybe like for example the metal can is the best example. There's a sheet of metal can, or like a stainless steel can, or the aluminum can that is molded to make a proper size of the can. So in that case, we need to make sure that what type of the lubricant we are using, and that food lubricant must come from the sources which are halal certified. The colorant, we also use different colors like and dyes, and some colors there's a risk they maybe come from the like insect sources that need to be sure they are properly treated and they didn't contain anything which can affect the halal suitability. So these are the example of different plastic material which can be suitable for different products. Like polypropylene, you can see it can be suitable for the yogurts and the films and boxes. Then the low density and high density product can be suitable for the bottles, sacks and bags, and the polyethylene like PET that is suitable for the for the liquid alcohol and water. So regarding the modified atmosphere packaging, there is a very clear direction from the EU. The regulation 94/54 and EC require that the label must include the packaging in a protective environment. What is a protective environment is that only have some permissible gases like carbon dioxide, nitrogen, oxygen, argon, helium, and nitrous oxide as a packaging gas. So these packaging gas must have a maximum level which is defined by European Commission, and they will not exceed that level which can affect the human health. This is the first thing. Secondly, you can't use other gases. These are the defined gases which can help to extend the shelf life of the product. So there's a best combination is used by the carbon dioxide and oxygen in case of the bakery product to extend the shelf life under control condition. So nitrogen and helium are used for the product which contain like higher oil content and fat content. For example, crisp is the best example where we use the nitrogen gas to extend the shelf life. So they also the purity criteria. These gases usually come in the form of the compressed gases, and they must be pure and pass through the filtration process to make sure this gases didn't contain any harm material which can affect the product and the human beings. So basically, these all gases, the purpose of these gases to extend the shelf life by using basically they prevent the growth of the microbiological organisms, especially in case of the bakery products, so that is they prevent the growth of yeast and mold. So we will discuss about the food labeling. Food labeling with regard to halal packaging and halal labeling, it is very important. For example, we have some ingredients which are hidden ingredients such as the processing aid, anti-caking agent, carriers, and incidental ingredients from various sources present in other serious problem for the Muslim countries or Muslim consumers. So that processing aid, anti-caking agent, and the carrier must have identified what is the source of these materials. For example, the magnesium and the calcium stearate used in the manufacturing of candies and chew gum without the mention of the origin of the stearate. That is very important. We need to make sure what is the source of stearic acid. So although there are different sources of stearic acid, but the stearic acid is a real challenge for the Muslim consumer and for the halal certified products. So in the European country or European manufacturer used 5% vegetables or animal fat in their product, but still able to label it as a pure chocolate. So in that case, there is another issue for the Muslim countries. We did not identify what is the source of the animal fat. The halal certification of the product and proper halal market logo can clarify the doubt for the consumer. Some product they are halal certified, but they didn't have any logo and mark. That is another issue. So somebody need to be read the labeling information which is displayed on the pack. So that's a risk from the labeling point of view. It is very important to make it straightforward. The halal logo and halal labeling help to consumer to purchase the halal product. So if the alcohol is the part of the food compositions and formation, then the alcohol must be included on the label as an ingredient. And the other thing, the alcoholic beverages and their flavors are not allowed to declare. For example, the wine rice, or maybe we will give another example later on. That is, I think, wine vinegar. So these are the sources of the stearic acid. You can see the animal fat, for example, beef tallow and lard contain the highest amount of the stearic acid. So the risk is that we didn't know about the halal suitability of this ingredient. Lard straight away is not allowed and prohibited in Islam and halal standard. So the other component you can see, although they contain the higher amount of the stearic acid, but they use as a product. So the cost of that product is higher, and we can't use this product as a additive for the packaging or manufacturing of the plastic material. The most common the fats which will come from the slaughterhouse as a byproduct are the beef and the lard fat, but there is a still, and the source is unknown, and the fat content become from that material still is a question mark from the halal standard point of view. Some material vehicles come under the category of questionable ingredient. For example, stearic acid from animal vegetable origin must be used in the production of the plastic sources, a production of the plastic. So that's very important. In case of the you want to use the stearic acid must come from the vegetable source to make sure it is halal suitable. And waxing and coating you apply to the plastic, paper, and styrofoam cups, and the plate might become from the animal fat, followed by very hot snelling stage, which is hot enough to nullify animal product found prior to the stuff. So that's another confusion, under the degradation at higher temperature, but the end of the product will convert into the stearic acid and their salt. So the thermal degradation will not remove the stearic acid from the packaging material. So metal cans and drums can be contaminated with the animal fat. For example, during the process of formation, rolling, and cutting of steel sheet to make the container require the use of the oil to aid in their manufacturing. Such oil can be animal derived. So that's another important. We need to make sure the oil used in the manufacturing of the can must come from the non-halal sources. Animal sources. So steel drum, which are often reused, can be used to carry food containing pork and pork fat. So we need to make sure the can material, which are recycled or are used to, maybe that material has been used in past, which maybe contain pork and pork fat. So that's another important issue that need to be addressed properly. We need to make sure the recycled material will not acceptable in case that steel drum is used for the packaging of the halal food product. Again, the bag and container need to be considered with regard to the halal suitability. Hidden ingredient, we already discussed, but they must have a certified halal symbols and logo that help the customer to purchase the halal suitable product, halal certified product. So food labeling basically give information about the about the food product and the detailed information about the food composition and the requirement. For example, if the label read that the product contains lard, straight away is haram. So it is prohibited in Islam, and gelatin must be come from the fish. And in case of the bovine, then should be slaughtered as per the Islamic standard or halal standard. So there's a two type of the labeling information which must be displayed on the packaging. That is, one is called mandatory. For example, you must have a product name, and you must have the labeling, must have ingredient information and declaration. You must have a nutrition information, maybe per 100 gram and per serving. You must have the company name, address, and you must have a date of expiry or date of the best before. And you must have a net or gross weight, and the allergen declaration. These are the components which are mandatory as per the food labeling rules and law regulation 1914 in UK. So voluntarily or information, this can be used like halal logo, halal certification, soil association logo, organic logo, and you can also provide some instruction to the client for the preparation. For example, this product is suitable for microwave. This product can be baked at certain temperature and time combination. So another example, like making canned peas on the same line as the canned pork and the beans. So no information. This is another question mark for from labeling point of view. It is very difficult to say this. The same line has been used to pack the canned peas, which has been used for the packing of the canned pork. So halal food labeling, basically, sometimes the labeling give information about like a red wine vinegar. So although this the vinegar is halal product, but there is a way display, so it can get confusion for the people. So we need to make sure when we will display the product, or maybe the product name need to be given to product, make sure it will come to a proper name. So the ingredients such as lecithin, monotriglyceride, and glycine can be come from the animal and vegetable sources. We need to make sure it comes from the halal suitable sources, or sources which are suitable from the halal standard point of view. Language is also a big barrier when some product export to the other countries. So the label must come from with the language which has been used in that country. So some exporters used more than one languages like English and Arabic, and maybe the product is gone in some other country, they use more than the two languages. So that help to the client to understand the food labeling information, and the client can read the information very clear to make sure this product is halal suitable. Sometimes, the product given the name like beef protein isolate. So this is also mislabeling, and there is a problematic from the halal standard point of view. So we will also use some plastic and the paper labels, which is we will use glue to stick the label on the primary packaging and on the cardboard boxes. So they use the glues and some printing dyes. which may have a direct contact with the food, and maybe we consider as the edible inks and other similar issue. So that's a very important. We need to address properly what is the source of these glues or printing dyes, and we need to make sure they will fulfill the requirement of the halal standard. So this is an example of there are the three components which are risky or which are critical from the halal standard point of view. One is mono and diglyceride, other one is a stearic acid. So we didn't know about the source of these material. What is the source of these? A third one is a gelatin. So you can see very clearly in this nutrition information, sorry, in this ingredient declaration. So there is no source has been identified. So that is a critical issue from the halal standard point of view. So you can see this is a product which is certified by Halal Food Authority. There is a clear logo on that packaging material, and this product belongs to the Mark and Spencer. So that logo create a clear confidence to the consumer that this product is certified by the Halal Authority. So people can purchase the product with the confidence. So this is a very clear information which give customer to give information to customer purchase the product. This is another example of the halal suitability. So you can see the British halal method. There is a clear logo on the product, so that give information. This is the product suitable for the halal. So these are some product produced by different retailer in the UK. So there are some. They produce the product. Some of the product they are certified and there is a halal label and logo on the product. Some of not. So some of the product they are not clear. So and with regard to the stunning method, so some are not clear, but stunning is compulsory in UK and Europe. So you can't produce the product without the stunning. So that is a requirement by animal welfare. So in different example, most of example you can see that a lamb usually come from the New Zealand. Some people understand this is although halal, but is not. Some people didn't have a confidence to create this halal certified. All is halal suitable. The last one is the packaging the food in the packaging the food in a halal environment. These are the parameters need to be considered. Keeping halal product in a separate room, that's important parameter need to be addressed. Scheduling production of avoid cross contamination. That's the best example is that you need to do in production planning. You can produce the product to halal first and non-halal after that. So in that case, you can save the time. You need not to do cleaning in between these two products, and there is a less risk of the contamination in between those two products. The other risk of contamination is the worker. So no switching a worker from non-halal to halal packaging. That is the best way to avoid the cross-contamination come from the people into the product. So properly marking area to identify the halal production, you have to make sure your raw material storage might be the freezer, refrigerated, and the finished product must be marked clearly. The product will not mix up with the non-halal product. So the worker do not bring in the food in the production area, and they must wash the hand before entering into the facility. This is also important parameter. You know, some people, especially in the non-Muslim countries, they bring the product which contain the pork material, and we need to make sure that pork material will not go from kitchen into the production environment. And they must wash the hand because they handle the pork into the kitchen. They have to make sure to wash the hand before entering into the facility. So the packaging material should not be made from any material that are non-halal. This is a very clear understanding regarding the food grade halal packaging requirement. The packaging material should not be prepared, processed, and manufactured using equipment that is contaminated with non-halal requirement. So during its preparation, processing, storage, and transportation, it shall be physically separated from the other food that does not meet the halal requirement. The food contact material must be food grade and shall not contain any material that are considered hazardous to human health and non-halal. So that standard basically come from the MUI. So they made a very clear direction with regard with the halal food packaging, the plastic material. So that is suitable, like ready to eat, for example, it made from the polypropylene dyes, adhesive, pork, fish statement is needed in that case. Paper packaging, like a packaging for the cooked rice, is made from the cellulose. Processing is such as the whitening agent, like a filler, adhesive and dyes. Animal statement and valid halal certificate is required to certify this paper packaging material. So canned food, for example, canned milk, it is made from the metal plate which use lubricant, animal fish statement and valid halal certificate is required. So the halal food should be suitably packed using packaging material that mentioned previous slide. The packaging process shall be carried out in clean and hygienic environment in a sound sanitary conditions and temperature satisfies safety and quality product. The cartridge should be appropriately marked, packed in the clean, new, sound, odorless packaging that shall not adversely affect the quality and the safety of the meat. So the halal product should be labeled so that the product can be identified and differentiated from the non product. For certain that are sold without the packaging, it is possible to mark the point. So under the codex like ISO 22000 and codex information, the packaging must have this type of information: the name of the product, list of the ingredient, date of the expiry, net, and the content as per the SI units. So name and address of the manufacturer, importer, or the distribution and trademark. Code numbers identify date or batch number of the manufacturing for the traceability, country of origin, instruction of use, if applicable. So the animal source ingredients such as oil, fat, meat, derivative, extract like gelatin, then it shall be declared with the source. If the food product contains GMO, the fact should be declared or stated on the packaging material. When halal mark is used, authority and certificate number should be placed on the product. So HFA already use QR code on their certificate for the authenticity of the certificate. So nature of product, you need to define like a dried, fresh, frozen, and smoked, which help us to store the product under the controlled condition. So that's the best example of the food labeling. You can see all necessary, mandatory, and the voluntary information is available. You can see the name of the product, nutrition information, ingredient, and the allergen declaration, use by date, net weight, and the manufacturing address and the origin of country. So that's a conclusion of the whole these slides. Sure, the halal certified packaging materials needed valid pork fish statement for the production and processing area of the packed material, valid animal feed derivative state of the supplier, packaging specification and composition of food packaging material is needed, halal certificate is needed, migration certificate, and food grade packaging declaration. So thank you very much for listening and attention. We can't hear you.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Oh.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Hussain, for an excellent presentation. Based on your presentation, we can conclude that halal labeling not just certifies the product, but also the packaging and the manufacturing process. So we are now opening the discussion for participants. The discussion remains open until 11:10 p.m. Jakarta time zone. It means we still have 30 minutes for the discussion. And I wish to inform the participants of the regulations of the Zoom Zoom meeting-based training before we start the discussion. If you are not talking, please turn off your microphone, and we recommend you to disable your video in cases where you have problems on the internet connection. And for verbal questions, feedback, or suggestions for Dr. Hussain, hit the raise hand button at the bottom of your screen on your Zoom panel, and I will invite you to speak at convenient time, and do not forget to activate your microphone before speaking to speakers. And you might also choose to deliver questions in the chat section, and I will read your query loudly. Do not hesitate to contact me on chat if you need more help. So Dr. Hussain, let us begin with Mr. Caesar's question. His question is, Costa Rica's policies, since he's coming from Costa Rica, are moving toward using green materials in food packaging. What do you think about the various options for doing so? Please, Dr. Hussain.
So regarding the food packaging, food grade packaging.
Green.
Sorry.
Yes, food packaging, Dr. Hussain.
So regarding the food grade packaging, the important factor is that you need to make sure the packaging has been made fulfill the requirement of the food, because I mentioned in this slide as well, the different type of the material is used to make the packaging material. So we have I did not give you detailed information, but there is a combination of different material which has been used to prepare or manufacture the packaging material. So some of the packaging material, they have a limits, like stearic acid and acetic acid, so you can't exceed. So there's a detailed information available in the some of the packaging material defined by the European Commission. So there's a very detailed information available about the type of the packaging material, what are the components, and what are the legal limit of the different packaging material, or different, like for example, we will talk about the plastic type of packaging material. So the first the component raw material is a resin is used. The resin is come from the petroleum products. That's a main component, but they will add some other material to make it applicable and make it easier for manufacturing. People will use like a filler, like a sodium carbonate, chalk, etc. This help us. Then people will use the additives like stearic acid, monochlorides. So these type of material basically help to flow the material from vessel into the mold area where the tray is molded and then the cool down. So that's a very similar. I mentioned here earlier in the packaging, or like a paper-based packaging. The paper-based packaging come from the cellulose material or the wood material, but that the type of packaging is all the food grade. But that packaging is not suitable, or will not stand for the product which contain higher moisture content. To make it applicable for the to resist against the moisture content inside of the paper-based bag, the liner, the plastic liner is applied to make sure the moisture will not migrate from the food into the packaging material, and vice versa.
Thank you, Dr. Hussain, for the response. Well, since we are talking about green materials, do you believe there is a connection between eco-friendly practices and halal certification? Like in Malaysia, for example, I've heard of a green halal supply chain model. What are your thoughts on this subject?
This is a big challenge from the halal point of view. I mentioned in one of the slides, for example, we need to make sure in case of the recycled material, for example, some metal can has been used for the packaging of pork material. So if that can be recycled or has been recycled, that is not suitable. So until they will go through the process in which we will confidence that has been removed during that process. But regarding the other packaging material, which we are confident about the paper-based packaging or the packaging which is suitable from the halal standard point of view, definitely we will recommend and follow it should be eco-friendly and will match with the environment and will reduce the waste into the environment.
Thank you, Dr. Hussain, for the insight. Another question from Mr. Jorge from Honduras. What occurs when items with no additives or additional components such as coffee or raw cacao are used? Is this halal by default? And can it be certified at the source if the packaging fulfills the criteria? And would you recommend a bulk shipment so that the product can properly packed closer to the customer? Please, Dr. Hussain.
So regarding the coffee and what other products? Sorry.
Raw cacao.
So yeah.
Raw cacao is maybe it's
Coffee and raw cocoa, yeah.
Yeah.
I think first of all, these products are suitable for the packaging of halal suitability. First of all, but secondly, you know, this type of material I have seen in UK and Europe. The most of the material is packed into the glass bottles. Like coffee, I've seen them. Most of the coffee will come in the glass bottles. The glass bottles have a less risk from the halal standard point because it is a combination of silica is a major component with the combination of other additive like calcium carbonate and sodium carbonate and magnesium. So there is one thing, and the other thing is that so. The other thing, there is no issue for the bulk packaging until I didn't know like a bulk packaging will go into the container. What is the way of transportation? That is a very important, you know, in case it will go into the tankers and the bulk from one way to one place to another place. So that is important. In case of it will go into the tankers. So we need to make sure the tanker has been used in past for the any non-animal sources or maybe halal certified. This is the first thing. If you are not sure, then you need to get the record of at least 3 to 4 last load. Like what are this tanker has been used in past, for example, vegetable oil, maybe they have been used for gelatin and the soya flour. So you need to get the cleaning certificate of last 3 load. So that gives you a confidence that these this tanker has been used in past for this product. So that's important. This is a very important factor from the halal standard point of view. You need to make sure the bulk delivery will go into the clean container and the container should not contaminate from non-halal to halal material.
Thank you very much, Dr. Hussain. Very interesting insight. I believe that it answers the question from Mr. Jorge. Dr. Hussain, maybe adding more highlights for the perspective of halal. Maybe you can also explain what is the significance of halal certification for items manufactured by enterprises based in countries where Muslims do not constitute the majority. Please, Dr. Hussain.
Yeah, actually, you know, we are also based in UK and Europe. So we have most of the non-Muslim companies which we given the certificate. Although it's a big market of the Muslim consumer all over the world. I think more than 6 billion Muslims are consuming halal certified product. And secondly, these all clients which are based in UK and Europe, they have a bigger market in Middle East and Asia. You know, so they are all Muslim countries. This is the first thing. Second thing, I know most of the participants belong to the non-Muslim and they didn't have a proper idea of what is a halal. Basically, halal is an Arabic word So that means permissible as per our Islamic standard and in the Holy Book Quran. That is a clearly mentioned what are the things which are allowed and what are the things which are not allowed. That's a very clear direction. So there are two things which are very important, commonly used. One is a pork and the pork derivated or the material which come derived from the pork, like a porcine and gelatin, that is straight away is not allowed in Islam or in Islamic standard and halal standard. The other one is alcohol. So alcohol, there is a limit, should be less than 1% into the finished products. And some of the flavor contain like more content of the alcohol content, but flavor definitely need to be diluted into the recipe. So, but end of day, when the product is finished product is made by using that flavor, the finished product should not be exceed the ethanol content more than 1%. The other thing from halal standard point of view is that we can't use any alcohol beverages for the production of any food product, which food product is state away is not suitable for halal certification. That is not possible in case of in case of the halal standard, because all alcoholic beverages, although they contain higher amount of the alcohol content plus they have a specific flavor, so they are not allowed straight away. The other thing is that there is a specific slaughtering way of manufacturing or slaughtering way of animal in Islamic standard and halal standard. So first of all, the person who do the slaughtering must be a Muslim and trained by the certification body which have expertise in halal standard. Or so this is the first thing. Secondly, the animal must be come into the slaughterhouse in a comfortable environment and they didn't have any stress. This is another thing. And I think in UK and Europe, they have very strict rules and regulations from animal welfare point of view. So they did not allow animal need to be slaughtered without stunning. Basically, stunning is a way which the animal, there's two types of stunning. First, I will cause electric stunning and the mechanical stunning. Basically, stunning is a type of animal become unconscious, because the reason behind is that they believe that when animal become unconscious, the animal did not feel any pain, just like a human being, when it will go to the slaughtering process. Then animal is slaughtered after in the stunning, when it become conscious, unconscious. So then the other thing is important. When somebody Muslim is slaughtered, that is slaughtered in the name of the Allah, in the name of the God. That's a very important parameter. You can't slaughter someone's name. You need to be slaughtered in the name of the Allah. That's another important thing. And before going to slaughtering, we need to make sure the animal is alive. It's not dead, because dead animals are not permissible and secondly not allowed, and they are not suitable for halal standard. So to make sure, we will check the heartbeat and the respiratory system to make sure animal is alive before going to the slaughtering. So these are just a brief introduction about the halal suitability. Other thing is important, which I mentioned earlier, when you have a logo on your finished product, that is a very easier to purchase the product from the market. But in case you didn't have a logo, that is a questionable issue. And some people, they have to read the ingredient on the food labeling. Some ingredient I mentioned in one of the label, they didn't have a clear understanding. For example, gelatin, we didn't know what is the source of gelatin. It maybe come from the lard, it maybe come from the fish, or maybe it come from the bovine. That need to be identified, what is the source. Secondly, some people just use the name of processing aid. So there are different type of the processing aid. Some processing aid come from the plant sources, and some come from the animal sources. For example, triglyceride. Triglyceride come from the animal sources and the plant sources. We need to make sure if they come from the plant sources, that is straightforward answer is yes, that is suitable for human. So halal standard point of view. But it comes from the animal sources, then we need to make sure what is the source of animal. So these are the parameters are important to declare the ingredient information on the label. So these are the question mark. If the product is certified, you have a logo on the product. There is a state of a answer is that product is certified.
Thank you, Dr. Imtiaz Hussain, for a very comprehensive explanation. Next, we are having a request. Actually, it came from Miss Jessica from El Salvador. Can you provide us with a brief overview or general information regarding Halal Food Authority? Please, Dr. Hussain.
So, Halal Food Authority is an organization. We are based in United Kingdom, and we are working, I think, last 35 years in UK and Europe, and we have more than 500 clients in UK and Europe, and we are providing very good service to the client. So basically, Halal Food Authority have a very good system in place. We have a food technology team of 5 people. They have a separate department, and we have a separate audit department. We have auditors, and then we have a certification department, administration department, and finance department. So an operation department as well. So basically, Halal Food Authority have a very good system in place to make sure the product is certified and meet the requirement of the Halal standards. So we have our own set of the Halal standard. Basically, we prepare the manual, and then manual is shared with the client before going to the client. So purpose of this Halal standard manual is that the people will get the same information which have Halal Food Authority. Basically, the process of the product approval and certification Halal Food Authority is that we have a product approval form. So that will go to the customer. For example, customer contacted to the Halal Food Authority, say we want to get certified these products. So the customer, we will get all information from customer through our product form, which is an internal document, and customer will provide all required information. For example, raw material specification, finished product specification, packaging material, all information which is mentioned in the product. It's a very detailed document. So that document is reviewed by the food technologist team. If they are satisfied, if they are happy, that's fine. If they're not happy, they will go back to the customer and client and they will get more information. If they are satisfied, then this all information move to the certification committee. A certification committee will go through all information. If they're happy, then this information forwarded to the audit department. Then audit department will allocate a auditor, will coordinate with the customer first, and then they decide the date. And if the date has been decided, and then they will arrange the auditor. The auditor will go on the site. Then auditor will spend 1 day to do physical audit of the site. They will go through all documentation which is present on the site. They will do the factory tours, and they will make sure everything is as per the Halal standard, and the all information provided by client meet the Halal standard requirement. Once the audit has been done, the auditor will submit the non-conformity report and the audit report to the audit department. Audit department review the all information, and then they submit information to again the certification committee. A certification committee will, if happy, they will forward this information to certification department. A certification department will issue the certificate within 3 to 5 working days. So that's the process, and that's the Halal Food Authority doing the work in UK and Europe.
Thank you, Dr. Imtiaz Hussain.
There is one more question I have seen here.
Yes, 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 Dr. Hussain. There's a question from
I
Mr.
think somebody asked, is the polystyrene used for food on your country? Is there any restriction regulation about the using of this material? So polystyrene, that's also material will come from the petroleum product. Definitely, polystyrene is also type of packaging, the plastic packaging. So there are two things in very important in halal environment. One is the product must come from the halal sources. There should not be any additives, animal material had been added. So secondly, with regard to the polystyrene, we need to make sure the packaging which must meet the food safety requirement defined by the European Union. Definitely, we are part of the Europe. We are living in the Europe. Have a customer in Europe and UK. We will follow strict guidelines provided by the European Commission under the category of food labeling requirement. Because halal is also follow the food safety requirement. The food safety requirements are part of the halal standard, and we will follow the European Union Commission. Definitely, when we go through the packaging material, first of all, we ask the customer provide the food grade specification of that packaging material, which will be used for the packaging of that product, which is certified by the Halal Food Authority. So that's very important. Yes.
Thank you, Dr. Hussain, for the response. Maybe a final question. It's very technical, actually. Does your institution provide certification for products from overseas, or it is exclusively for products manufactured in United Kingdom?
No, we have some customer in Middle East. We have some customer in, actually, I don't want to mention the confidential, but we have some customer in Asia. And, we have some customer in all over the Europe, which I mentioned, UK. We have some customers in Ireland, in Middle East, Malaysia, even in Japan. So even in our Israel, we have a lot of customer in all over the world.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Hussain. So participants, ladies and gentlemen, I'm afraid that we are running out of time. Maybe I would invite Dr. Hussain to provide final comments before we finish this session of halal labeling. Please, Dr. Hussain.
Okay, thank you very much for giving me an opportunity to present my work on this platform. I really appreciate to you yourself and your company as well. So I think it was a very good experience to share knowledge on this platform. And the one thing I want to add, nobody is expert in this area. Basically, we all people are learning from each other. Definitely, I'm also learning on this stage, and everybody is learning is a continuous process. You can't stop it. So basically, we believe that the knowledge is we need to spread knowledge, because if you spread the knowledge, you will get the more knowledge. So in that way, it is a best way, which I'm very happy. I have given the opportunity. I try my best to present it to meet the requirement and give information which I can, which I have. So I'm very hopeful and confident. I think audience got a lot of information. Definitely will come back to home with a good conclusion, which we discussed in our slide. Anyway, thank you very much for your time, and have a nice day.
Thank you, Dr. Hussain. I'm also glad to have you sharing your halal labeling experience and knowledge in this training, and I wish much success for your future endeavor.
Okay, thank you very much. Bye.
Bye. Ladies and gentlemen, we will put this training in a recess until tomorrow. We will listen to 3 lectures on fundamental type and design of packaging. We will see you at the Zoom meeting tomorrow, and have a good day.